today. Let's talk about consent and boundaries. So many people in the Tantra world or the Shibari world, they think that when you ask about boundaries, it's only like where you can touch them. But boundaries can be broken down in so many different ways. I've been talking about boundaries so much recently, and so I thought I'd get on here and make a video and let you know how broad boundaries are and what they consist of, and it goes with consent and stuff like this. So when you're doing an intake, when talking to somebody, I'm going to just focus on a Shibari session for now. You know, you want to find out what their boundaries are, but in finding out what their boundaries are, yeah, it is about where they want or don't want to be touched, or what's, you know, okay, what's not. But it's also the style of touch and the energetics of touch. So it's like, so some people are like, okay, well, you can scratch me, but scratch me lightly. You can, you know, scratch me this way, but not this way. You know, stuff like this. So that's you can do this, but you have to do it in a certain way that they feel good. You know, it's like somebody came to me for a Shibari session recently, and they said, no biting. This was our, I don't know, third or fourth session that I was working with her, and I said, so no biting, or are you wanting light biting? So the time before she'd come to me and said light biting, I said, I want to clarify. She's like, oh yeah, I want biting, light biting, just no deep biting. And so by me asking that question, she actually still got what she wanted. You know, it just, she didn't want pain in the bite. She just wanted, you know, little nibbles, little bites. And it's like, whereas if I didn't ask her that, I would not have bitten her. And then she would probably been left feeling like, why didn't you bite me? But it's like clarifying these little things, like how you want to be scratched, the depths you want to be scratched, the depths you want to be bitten, hair pulling, how do you want to be? And it's like going through all of this stuff. It does take time to like figure out and work with people. And it's like, to find out what it is. And even in the session, especially when you're first initially having a session with them, it's still an exploration. Go, oh, okay, they said hair pulling is good, but maybe hair pulling to this degree is not good, but a slow, gradual pull is good, or with a medium amount of pulling. Some people I know, like, they don't like the top of their head, their hair up there pulled. You know, it's like, so that might be a boundary also. Spanking, different levels of spanking, and where to spank. Sometimes, like, you know, the butt is good, but the inner thighs are not. You have to kind of start listening for, like, all the degrees of boundaries, all the degrees of what I'm giving consent to, or what your client is giving consent for. So that's a different level. And then there's the energetics of, like, okay, so we're playing with the energetics. Are you okay with the central energetics, the primal energetics, and what goes along with that? And then, you know, then there's the dominant or the submissive, and there's all different kind of subtleties when it comes to energy, and that you're working with and playing with and exploring. And, you know, finding out, engaging their level of threshold of, like, pleasure and pain and stuff like this, and finding out where that is. And then especially like with Shibari, a lot of people, like when I do a Shibari session, I take photos and then I give it to the person that I've tied and said, okay, now it's up to you. You know, I had this experience lately. The first time I tied this person, she was like all over, like, yes, post it, tag me, yes, this is great. And then the next time she came for a session, she was like, you can post them, no problem, don't tag me. So I wanted clarification, because there was time before that she's like, yeah, I want you to post this. I just don't want you tagging me in it, but you use my name. So I want to clarify it. I said, okay, so I'm going to post this photo. You don't want to be tagged in it. I understand that. Do you want me to still put your name? And because there's these different kinds of options. And then she's like, oh, well, maybe I want you to tag me, and maybe I'll just make it where I don't approve it to be on my page. it's like, will you let me know? Because right now I hear I can post the photos, do not post the name, until she gives me consent to tell me, yes, post my name. Even though she's told me no tagging, I still don't know if the name is okay. And it's like breaking it down to these minute things to make sure we're completely, as practitioners, honoring. And it's like we can do this in relationship. In relationship, where you can find out, like, somebody's like, yeah, I love you pulling my hair, but if you're pulling it from here, that's sometimes painful or weird. And if you're pulling it here, it's great. Pulling it here is okay or not okay. So finding out all those things, and like even in relationship, and in Tantra, we have to go through this also. Like, well, what kind of touch do you like? Where do you want to be touched? Where's okay? Where's not okay? We have to break it down to make sure what they're really consenting for. Because if you say no biting, I am not going to bite you. But if you're saying no deep biting, great, I can honor that. No problem. So we're looking for the details of what works. So find out what the person is really consenting for, and find out for yourself what you like, don't you like, what you want, don't you want, stuff like this when you're coming into these kind of sessions. So anyway, if you have any questions, post them below. I'd love to answer them. Like this. And if this is on YouTube, please follow me. Ciao.